broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz
Hey guys, welcome to another after show for Mistresses. This is season 3, episode 3, Odd Couple. And it is episode 3 because we had a double episode last week.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So
I was totally confused by that, by the way.
I was too. April
like today when I was looking at the channel, I was like, wait, no, 3? No. Yeah.
April had to just explain it to me before we started, so there we go. All right, hey guys, I'm your host, Sterling Cates, and joining me is Miss Alison and April.
Hi. The double A team.
That's right. Where can we find you guys on social media before we get started?
You can find me everywhere at the Alison Dean.
And y'all can find me everywhere at April Whisenhant.
And you can find me at Sterling Cates. And before we get going, just want to let you guys know we're doing a survey online. It's podcast1.com. We have all of these great free podcasts for you every week, every day. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. Tweet us. Let us know your comments. What are you thinking, guys? It only takes a second, and we can make the show better, and we can, improve upon whatever whatever it is. Or you can just compliment us all the time.
That's good, too.
I love that.
Don't hate that.
I support that.
But we love all the love.
Yeah.
And also, whatever you don't like. So just throw it out there. That's podcast1.com, and you can just fill out the survey there. We would greatly appreciate it. Okay. All right, well, what did you guys think about this odd couple?
Some odd things are happening tonight, but some really good things. Of course, y'all know I'm loving the Joss and Harry interaction. Oh my god.
There was not enough of it this episode.
True, but I mean,
it's
getting a snippet.
It's true.
I am just a little speechless from the preview for what's to come, but we can't talk about that until the end.
I was like,
but my mind is just all over the place after seeing that before coming in here.
A flutter. Your mind was a flutter. Yes.
I'm almost more excited. I mean, this was a great episode tonight for sure, but I'm like, you end on that and expect us to still think about that?
That's the point, right? Like, that's what they gotta do. All right, so let's get into it. We'll start off with April. So we have Mark and Scotty now living in her house. In bunk beds. He's on the top bunk, Mark is.
Every guy's dream, right?
I do not. So we talked about this last week. I don't want her to end up with someone who's on the top bunk of the bed. You know what I mean? Like, I want her to be with someone who's, like, stable.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And, I mean, clearly, like, she's doing him a solid right here. But just like we said last week, it feels like they're trying to set it up for them to have some sort of romance. Because, we see they do have some chemistry. And we see, like, the good moments. She's, not trying to make him a better person, but she is, in fact, making him a better person. We see him later offering her money. But at the same time, it's completely agree. He ultimately is sleeping on a bunk bed in her house. And April just deserves more than that. Not that Mark isn't a great guy, of course, but, like, she needs something. She needs stability. Yeah. Well said, for sure.
I'm going to agree with Dustin Bradley. Hello, Dustin. Because I really do think that they're going to have this epic friendship. And I think that it's going to become a really, obviously he already has a sister, but I think he's going to kind of gain another sister in April.
I like that.
I do. Obviously they're gonna tease us a bit with, like, these nuances of, could it possibly be romance?
Right. Yeah. It's called Mistresses.
I know.
All,
I think it's just going to end up being they both really learn life lessons from one another. Because we already kind of got a little taste of that from the conversation that they had towards the end, where suddenly she was like, oh, now I feel like a dum-dum.
Yeah. Right. And there's a little moment in the preview that we will talk about later. So now I'm like, all right, nix that theory in general. But yeah, so they're living there now, but she's still having to wake them up, and it's very stressful. The house is, messy, and he gets this job, and she tells him that he needs structure in his life. So that his way of doing that is to go, it's called Busy Beaver, and it basically is just him running errands for people, building doll houses, pet sitting, playing video games.
So like he got paid $150 to build a dollhouse. So how can I get it?
So is Busy Beaver a real thing?
Yes.
Because
Or
I
can
would
it
be
be?
down.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Quick $150, no big deal.
But at the same time, at this point, he's not paying rent, anything, and he's utilizing her whole house and kind of taking over a little bit.
I would go a little bananas, I think, too.
Well, we see like the dogs that he's dog sitting use the bathroom inside. Like it's just a little, overbearing, and especially with all that she's dealing with outside of this, she doesn't need to come home and be stressed by this person that she's just trying to help.
Right. So anyone would be frustrated or overwhelmed with that in your house. But April is now dealing with, she finds out that she owes $200,000 because the life insurance for Paul is null and void, and she has 30 days to pay it back. So 30 days to pay back $200,000.
Doll hairs. I took issue with that because I feel like in any of those life insurance contracts, I mean, I'm sure they design them to be very fail-safe.
Right.
But I do think in the case of someone where someone doesn't really die when you think they do, but then is murdered.
Yeah.
I feel like that introduces another level of, technically he's dead.
Right.
Well, the life insurance, though, but they paid it because they thought it was a boating accident. Like, this is completely different, and it was, like, drug-related.
Is that not part of life insurance?
I think it is. No, I think murder is. Yeah, I think if you're murdered.
But the other part of that is, though, is she has to, and she realizes this at the end, is that she knew he was alive, and she was still taking the money. That's the part of it that...
That was going to be my question, though. So, it's public knowledge that she knew that he was ultimately alive? I didn't think it was.
No, it didn't become public knowledge until the FBI revealed to the life insurance company, or until, I guess... See, that's the thing, too, is this whole story could have been kept under wraps. Mm-hmm. It's not the kind of story, especially when it's drug-related or whatever, it's not like that's going to be all over the news necessarily. I don't know. Like, I feel like the FBI, there's certain things that are shielded from the public. So I think that was just a shady, like, Paul being shady thing,
well,
maybe?
He was a good one for them to get, though. So, obviously, it's going to be a public thing.
A bigger thing?
Yeah, because, we see, like, this... he was a huge part, or all of her storyline last season, obviously.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I think that's why. But that's kind of what I was confused about because, obviously, like you said, they paid it for the boating accident, but then... he wasn't dead. I guess I just didn't know that everyone knew that she knew he wasn't dead.
Right. Like, I feel like there's probably some other sort of settlement that they would need to figure out for the murder.
A loophole. It's a loophole.
Yeah, they're like, oh, man, this has never happened before. We don't know what to do.
If you die and then you're ultimately living and you die again, you just call it a wash. Let her keep the money. Because I feel like you would probably get, like, if your husband gets murdered, wouldn't you get more?
Yeah, well, that's what Karen thinks.
And
that's what she thinks.
I kind of was on her page. I was like, yeah, you should get more.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I think April deserves all the money for everything that she's
done. All the money for you, April.
For everything she's been through. And she did, good things with that money. She invested in her business, and now she's able to, create income, and then she also put the rest in the college fund. So it's not like she's just like buying like Fendi bags and like.
But now that Lucy's putting makeup on, maybe now that Lucy's putting makeup on, she's like, college fund. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Lucy's not just putting makeup on.
No, she's
Lucy
like full
had
on
a crop top and tights. I would not wear that.
Wasn't it a little crazy though when she said that she's already spent the $200,000 in that year and a half?
Well. Technically, no, in the sense of if she bought the building, or if she, depending on what she had to do for startup capital. That had to be
mostly for the business.
Oh, I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god.
Renovation. Maybe it's like a crap building that she bought. She had to like make it all pretty.
Well, and I'm sure
we don't know the logistics.
Yeah, she had to buy paint and everything.
Yeah,
but I feel like a pretty good chunk of it probably is sitting in Lucy's college fund. College is expensive, so you got to think she probably put like $30,000 to $50,000. I would think.
Especially, every year it keeps going up and up and up and up and up and up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, I don't know. So we see what's her name?
Tony.
Okay. So then she's talking to Karen, and obviously Karen, the voice of reason, says that she needs a lawyer. which brings up, I wish Savvy were here, which like jabs
Again, I know,
Joss in the heart a little bit.
Yeah.
But then so she gets a lawyer, and in walks Tony, who I didn't think we would see again.
No.
Me neither. Wait, can someone refresh my memory? So when Savvy and Dom did the whole like trickaroony thing on her in the office, her penalty or her punishment was that she still had to work there, but under the confines of like a new, like a threat almost, like we're gonna keep you here, but this is how it's gonna work. Is that what happened? She still worked there, right?
Yes. Something like that.
I'm like,
because
chat
Dom,
people, tell me if Tony was
Why
still
did
working
I
with
think
Dom.
she went to a different firm?
She was
going
interviewing
to-
or pretending to be interviewing at a different
Right.
firm and like throwing that in their face.
so that she could get a promotion
Or something.
Yeah. No, that was it.
I was never really that interested in her.
I know, she was
storyline
annoying.
because I didn't really like her that much.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's a good actress in that way,
Yeah,
so go
no,
Tony.
yeah,
I'm like, we all hate you.
Great job.
We all dislike you.
Right.
You are a great actress. Okay.
But Dom, she says in this episode that Dom gave her this case.
Yeah.
And, it's
And
pro
Dom was
bono.
like, I'm sorry, I can't be here.
I wanted Dom to
Right.
do it.
Yeah.
I mean, the minute that Karen said, you need a lawyer, I was like, Dom.
Yeah.
Dom.
Well, he's
Not
been
Tony. He's been
Yeah.
her lawyer too. I mean, we saw that in last episode. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
stepped in.
I guess he just
Right.
couldn't. Couldn't make it.
He had
at
a
this
conflict.
point.
He
Yeah, he had a conflict.
He had a lunch. He couldn't
So-
make that one.
He was working on another show.
He couldn't make it to Canada. Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's true. Yeah.
he couldn't make
too
it to
far.
Canada for that one, like, 45-second scene.
That's too far. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so Tony could,
Yeah.
and she is there, and she, jumps right in because she thinks that this reminds her of, like,
Easy
her
breezy.
telenovela.
Telenovelas.
Yeah, so.
And
there's
April's just
that.
like, oh, okay, it's in my life. It's a drama to you.
So basically, she's saying, we'll come to an agreement with the insurance company, we'll meet halfway, blah, blah, blah. But April's like, no.
Right.
I'm not paying any of this back because at this point, I feel like, first of all, she shouldn't have to, but also she's just very proud about it. She's like, do you know what I've been through? Like, I shouldn't have to do that.
Exactly. And she, I mean, just like we said, she really shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, the insurance letter of the law, but what she's been through, I feel like they shouldn't force, especially in 30 days. Like,
Right.
give the girl some time.
Yeah.
And then Tony negotiates this kind of like BS deal, or I mean, she cut off half of it, but
Yeah.
April's not prepared to pay for any of it, even if it is in installments.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I guess it's better than $200,000, obviously.
right.
But
Well, we learned then that later she kind of reveals to Mark that, she doesn't do that, reveal to Mark until he tells her that, I ditched the interview at the restaurant because I'm 3 years sober. The restaurant biz probably isn't the best for a recovering alcoholic.
right.
when
which
there's
is-
hot bartenders
Which
there.
is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's like, and he was like, but I had to take responsibility for myself. This is my way of living on my own terms, blah, blah, blah. So that makes her realize, I probably should just own up to my responsibilities, do what I need to do. And it seems like she's gonna, just
She's
tighten
gonna own up
a
to
little
it.
bit, own
Yeah.
up to it. Because at the end of the day, morally, I guess she did know that he was alive, and she shouldn't have been taking that money.
I guess, I mean,
But I mean,
would've
if
done
I
the
were in her
same
shoes, I would.
thing.
Yeah, right. I would have been like, I'm pretty sure he's dead. I'm gonna just take these checks.
Yeah, keep them coming.
Sure.
I think in her case, though, by the time she found out that he was still alive, she had already received all the money.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking too. Like, okay, let's say it is the right thing to return it when you find out that your dead husband is in fact not dead. I mean, if you've spent it, then you've spent it. You thought that this was 100% yours. So, I mean, what do you, like, you can't, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I hope that Tony can work her magic and work something out for April, but I mean, at least she's prepping to, try and do something and not buy fancy almond butter anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, and technically he was still very dead to, like, the world. Like, she knew he was still alive, but he was technically still very inoperable. Like,
Right.
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yes, hopefully Tony will figure some shiz out.
Yeah. And then the last thing about April is Lucy. We mentioned this earlier.
Oh.
Walking down the steps in that cheetah print crop top with the.
I'm about
Tight
tired
pants.
of Lucy's tude.
Yeah.
Whenever she's like, come down here and get ready. And she's like, I'll be down when I work. Or whatever she said,
Yeah.
basically back talking. And the way she walked down those stairs and looked at her mom, I'm like, okay, I get she's mad, but just like, you don't let your daughter talk to you that way, or you don't just let her
Right.
dress however she wants to.
Right.
The kid is, I don't know how old she is, but I imagine her to be like 8, 9, something like that. She's probably like 14.
She looks really pretty.
She should not be wearing that.
But not appropriate, obviously.
100%.
Yeah.
She's a beautiful little girl, of course.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I get like the whole like teenager thing. I don't know how old she is, but April is doing the best she can. You know, every time I say April, I think I'm talking about you, and I'm just
when I see my name, I'm like, what?
We're talking about me for the first part.
I would not let my daughter go with that crop top and leggings.
Right, you gotta get your Aprils in check on that front.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Anything else on April?
No, I'm going to do a quick shout out because I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. We've got Sheena123 with us, Chris Miller with us, Dustin Bradley. I've already shouted out at you. Cutie XOXOXO1, and I feel like there was someone I'm missing. Aaron McCarthy. And we have to say,
what's up?
I know, say hi to all them. And Marissa Serafini is our producer.
Marissa. Woo, woo.
So, sup to Marissa.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody?
She loves
All right.
the mistresses.
And now we can proceed.
Yeah, and while we're taking a quick break, really second,
yes.
just want to do a little shout out for Dance Battle, which is a competition special coming to ABC. It's produced by Maria Menounos, our girl. Woo, woo. And Julianne Hugh Huff. I always say that.
Like she's tough.
It reads
but
like
Huff. I actually had a conversation about that yesterday with someone. It was like, is it Huff like tough, or is it Hugh like blue?
Tough Huff.
Is it Hugh like blue?
Now I'm gonna say
like
Hugh.
the blue. Anyways, it's Huff. So, and I still did it wrong.
That's okay.
Anyways, so it is coming to ABC, but they are encouraging you to submit a video to dancebattleamericacasting.com.
Yes.
I'm going to say that one more time. dancebattleamericacasting.com. You don't have to be professional. I know
Better
that
that you're not.
Allison, April, and I, we've got the moves.
We're really
we've got
good,
it down.
but you know.
We're going to work on a video after this, probably.
yeah.
Submit. But yeah, you don't have to be a professional dancer. Just submit what you got. It's supposed to be fun. Again, that's dancebattleamericacasting.com.
Shabam.
All right, there we have it. So let's get into Karen.
Karen.
So we know that she is helping out Vivian by providing her stem cells. When she was approached by Dr. Adams.
Yep.
And so this episode, we see her getting the procedure done. And it's a really extensive procedure. It takes 6 hours while they separate the cells and take what they need and then put it back in your body and this whole thing.
Keeping your arms straight the entire time.
You can't do anything. You just have to sit there, and they only have 2 channels on. Judge Judy. She's like, no, I don't want to watch it. So she's basically just staring at a wall the whole time.
They should give someone headphones or you know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they do.
Listen to the Love soundtrack or something.
Listen to the after show for Mistresses.
The magic of television.
Better idea.
AfterBuzz TV.
Better idea. They should listen to their own after show. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree.
What did they think of me last week? Yeah, they should have done that. I don't know
Yes.
what they were thinking. But obviously there's, all of these side effects that come with doing this procedure. But she thinks she knows everything, blah, blah. And we already see a little bit of some sort of, not chemistry.
Romance?
But not romance, but some sort of something between the two. The Dr. Adams and Karen.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's because they're being so obviously, like they're painting him to be such a dick.
Yeah.
That to me, I'm like, they're painting him to be just such a pile of crap in how he treats her. That I knew, I just know the producers are doing that to cultivate this underground, they're gonna have a moment, and eventually, where they're gonna look at each other and just want to make out, and I'm gonna be like, oh, Karen, girl. And she's gonna maybe want to make out with others as well.
Well, and then this might be, going off of what you're saying with staging some sort of romance happening, but he comes to her house to check on her, which she needed someone there. She was dropping the glass, she's stepping on the glass, feeling very fatigued. She needed someone at the house, which Josh, I always call her Josh.
I do too.
Josh!
Just is not there. And maybe she should at least be checking in, but that's a conversation for another time.
Tonight gave me so many Grey's Anatomy vibes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm just see having her in the hospital with, the tube coming out of her arms, and then I see Dr. Adams as, he's Alec Adams. He is the McDreamy of Mistresses.
Totally.
And he's a little McSteamy.
He's mixed. Never mind, that's not going to work.
Oh.
He's definitely a mix of it for sure.
I wanted to see what you were going to say.
I was like,
McStreamy is not nearly as attractive as McSteamy.
I would agree.
He's the perfect mix of McDreamy and McSteamy.
Yeah.
But I completely agree with you. They're making him be like, but he's intense because of his love for his wife and because he wants this for his wife. So he says, but at the same time, he's kind of just being a jerk to her. Like when you're this person who you don't even know is doing a huge favor that could potentially save your wife's life. Like I would be groveling at someone's feet.
And also keep them happy and like not stressed out about the whole thing. And he's doing, I mean, especially when you're donating any sort of part of your body, I feel just like, when animals, if you're about to kill them, suddenly your body is like rushed with like bad endorphins that like it's not good for when you eat the meat, I feel like, okay, well,
I did not know that, but now I do.
It's true. It's like, you have to be humane when you kill an animal because it affects it affects
we
things.
get it.
Anyway, we can discuss this on another show. Okay. But, I feel like in giving blood or stem cells and you're, there, and if you're freaked out, that's not helping your blood supply.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say.
But knowing Karen, though, how receptive do you think she would be of someone, like, groveling at her feet? Like, I don't think she wants that.
Just, like, nice. Just be not, hey, can I get you a water?
I think she appreciates
You have one of mine.
We have a few here tonight.
Here you go, Karen.
I think she would definitely not like him to be groveling is an intense word for that, but I think that he should just cut the edge off a little bit.
Right.
He's doing a nice thing, going and checking up on her because she wasn't answering her phone, but so the gesture is nice, but his actions aren't. The way he's speaking to her.
You know what they say about boys who are mean to girls? Exactly. They really like them.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They're trying to create something, and it's clear we're all feeling it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
well, we'll see.
It's like a mounting suspense.
Yeah.
What will happen?
But they're not making me want it to happen though, because the way he tells that story about
I was gonna
say,
how sweet was that story though? Minus the girl that he completely did.
I'm a doctor. Let me on stage.
But he was like, when I saw her, I knew that he was like, what did he say? He was like, after I saw Viv, there were no other girls. And I was like,
that's what you want to hear.
Romance series.
I'm pretty sure my heart literally just like squeezed a little bit.
And you see Karen's face, she's like, I think I might be in love with you. I can't have you, so I think I'm in love with you.
Exactly. It's perfect for Karen.
And then he reveals that, the reason I'm here and I stayed so long is because we might need you to do it again.
Right.
We need more cells.
So let's get you on a power bar right now.
Yeah, seriously. So, I mean, I guess she has a decision to make here. A, does she want to do it again? Does she need some time?
She'll do it again.
She'll do it. I mean, you're already this far into it.
Prediction, I'm like,
no, she'll do it again.
She'll do it again.
Yeah. And then the next day after that all is happening, she's going back to work, says it's just a short shift.
That was weird to me.
Maybe she's not going to work, or maybe she just wants to get out of the house. I don't know.
I think she probably wants to get out of the house, but we also see her like having a conversation later. Wait. Oh, no, that was never mind.
Or maybe she's going to do it again. She just doesn't want to tell Joss and all of them because they'll be like, why are you doing this again?
I don't think she can do it again that soon.
Not that soon.
I don't know. I have no idea where she's going. Maybe she's just going to work
wanted
and
to get
looking
pretty. She wanted to,
like,
feel clean.
Let's not forget her profession. Like, she sits in a chair all day.
Yeah.
So it's not the most taxing thing ever.
But it's mentally taxing depending on the people that you're encountering.
Yes.
That could be very crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like maybe she was just going to work and we're looking way too into this. We're like, where was she really going?
Like, is she going to spy on someone?
Is she going to Starbucks? I need a detailed itinerary. All right, let's move on here. We'll talk about, so this whole Joss, Kalista, Joss, Henry thing is all a little intertwined. But let's just talk about the opening scene first with Kalista about to murder her husband.
But when we're watching it, we're like, do it.
I
was like, do it.
I'm like, get it over with.
Yeah. Or just like attempt it and then let him fight her off and be like, what are you doing? But
I was really surprised they still slept in the same bed together. I actually was thinking that. I was like, really?
But she's pretending like she doesn't know. I could be wrong.
It just, I guess in the...
She hasn't really, we haven't never seen them interact.
Right.
This is literally...
Oh, yeah,
This is like the first scene we've ever seen them together, and he's like completely snoring and drooling all over the place.
Yeah. I also felt like they didn't match as a couple when I saw them lying there together.
I'm still holding by my prediction that he's gay or something, but the model
that's what I was,
yes.
I think you could be right.
But
maybe he'd experiment.
You hear about, like, you know, guys having beards, like a guy who doesn't want to say that he is gay, so I think I'm using that in the right way, so he has, like, multiple women that he's with because he wants to hide it, which is really sad, obviously, but, I mean, well, he is married, so... maybe it's a possibility. I mean, but holy crap, that model who works for you work for Kalista, who she pays you are full-time for her, and you're going to sit there and make a joke about how her husband likes girls with their hair down?
That would
are
never
you an idiot?
happen.
I would have smacked her.
Do you think that would happen?
No. No one would ever actually be that rude because, I mean, she told you to put your hair up. She's your boss. You put your hair up. You're a model.
Some people would be that rude because some people are just that unaware of, like, what...
Yeah.
What you should do with life, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, I'm with you though. That was ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm glad she fired her though.
Yeah. Well,
you can leave with your hair down.
Right. But let's rewind for a second here. So, how we got there though is Kalista hires Joss to be her event planner for this one event because the other event planner bailed out.
Bailed, bailed,
got fired, the whole thing. Kalista's freaking out. Joss is like, that's my bread and butter, baby.
Yeah. I saw that happening from a mile away. She's like, oh my gosh, you lost the venue, as Joss casually walks into the room.
Cell phone, let me just make a call for you. I know many people and they all owe me things.
Yeah, exactly. So she puts on this event, gets all the stuff done in a short amount of time, blah, blah. And when they're... Kalista comes and she's like, oh my god, I can't believe you did all this. Oh, by the way, I went and saw Harry at his restaurant.
Yeah, just casually.
Yeah. Well, she didn't mean to, though. She was like, she just said something like, with that hot accent or whatever. And she was like, how did you know that he has an Australian accent?
Yeah. I thought there was a part of me that thought even Kalista didn't even really notice that she said it. But then I was like, her face kind of twinged a little bit. And I'm like, oh no, she knew, she just messed up.
Did either of you think it was weird when she walked into Kalista's house and it was as though they had known each other for like years?
Yeah, with Wilsonian. And it's like, I guess some time has passed now.
But then one of the other, I think it was April, was like, oh yeah, last week I broke up with my boyfriend. So I'm like, okay, so it's only been a week.
And you're just prancing on in there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of odd.
Well,
wasn't odd to you?
I kind of do that with people. I'm like, well, if I like you, and I get to know people or I get attached fast. So I could imagine myself being
I can see it with Joss and Kalista, but the fact that she was so
chummy with Wilson,
with the assistant already, it's like how many opportunities?
Like how many cocktail hours have you been to already together?
I think she was just being like sociable and just like,
oh, hey. Maybe, I don't know. It just definitely a level of comfort there.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so this is when she tells Joss that she went to the restaurant and had a cocktail there, and that she saw that there was a little something between the bartender Nico and Harry.
Yeah.
And
it's Josh and Henry. It's the Josh and Henry show, folks.
Yeah. And for our last plotline, we'll talk about. So and Joss is not happy with that, obviously, as I feel like I would be too. That's weird.
Well, it's just like the best point Joss made is, why am I just now hearing about this? Like, if this isn't so weird, if you weren't doing it for any weird purpose, this is a week later.
Yeah, or you would have told me, oh, I'm just gonna go do some PI work in the restaurant real quick to go see what's happening, and then I'll keep you updated, type of thing.
Maybe it was one of those things too, like just to play devil's advocate, although I wasn't down for it when I saw it happening last episode, but it could be one of those things where perhaps Kalista was just trying to be proactive and understanding what he was all about, what his vibe was, and kind of keeping it in her pocket in case she needed to bring it out for some reason or something.
Yeah.
And And then if not, she would just kind of keep it subdued for a while. Although that kind of failed because she released it anyway in this capacity. So I don't know.
I agree with it in a sense. Like, I think she was doing it. You know, we kind of hypothesized why she was doing it last week. Now I think she really kind of was doing it to be a good friend. But the most important part is that she left out, and that we know, is that she spoke with him. She walked up to him and said something.
Yeah, exactly.
And I wish we would have saw that more.
We didn't see that whole conversation.
No.
It didn't obviously end with "Hello, Harry" or whatever that ending scene was. But at the end, when Wilson. So after that, model makes a comment about, she says, well, men like women with their hair down. At least I know your husband does, or whatever it was.
I know. See? I'm with you.
I was like, oh, no, that's not going to end well. But she just fires her and she leaves. But then she, locks herself in the bathroom, of course. And Wilsonian, I'm going to continue to call him Wilsonian.
Yeah, he's pretty much
calls Joss back and was like,
you got to get over here.
Kalista, you got to come here because she can basically ban you from doing any more events in LA.
Right.
If you
I
don't
was
come back.
surprised by that, actually, because at least from what we've seen so far with Kalista's character, she's already kind of written her husband off on many levels. She knows he's a dude that's getting it on with others, or at least giving off airs that he is.
Yeah.
And so I just thought it was bizarre that she'd be curled up in a bathroom because one of her silly models says something that she probably already knew on some level.
I think she
she's
hit
embarrassed.
I think she hit a breaking point, and she was embarrassed. She said that this was the first time it's someone that she works with. So it was brought up in front of all of her colleagues.
She's a model.
But at the same time, though, it's not only embarrassing, but it's a breaking point, because this is something she's been dealing with for a while.
This is something that she's literally heard out loud, this happened. I mean, obviously the girl didn't say, "Oh, I banged your husband," but I mean, in so many words, she did at the same time.
Yeah.
I just feel like it could have been a moment where she could have said something to all the models and well, everyone, if this is the kind of thing that we're going to be doing, you can all leave right now. I feel like it could have given her a moment to be the queen bee.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
See, I feel like she handled herself well.
I think she did too.
You can't let someone who says that to you stay there.
Right.
No,
I
agree.
handled it she was very much so okay, I forget what she said, but I thought she handled it well in the moment. Just, she had a little, but she's entitled to a little bit of a freak out. Not the best time for this to happen, obviously, because it's a huge moment in her career.
That's what I mean.
She was definitely hurt by what the model said, but I think she was more hurt that her husband blatantly did it and to her face with someone she works with.
Her top model,
her top model, Eva or Ever, whatever her name is. Not that we'll ever see her again, so I don't know why they threw her name in. But anyways, it's her top model, and it's kind of just he threw it in her face.
Right.
Whatever. He knew that they worked together. Anyways, regardless, Joss comes back. They have a little heart-to-heart, end up on the same page.
I appreciated that heart-to-heart, because I think
me
that
too.
she said a few things that were very, very important. If you want Harry, go get Harry.
Yeah.
That kind of... I was yes, you should have said this all along.
Yeah.
Yes, these are the things that you should be saying.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it was really important that she said,
that she had a big nose.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite. Thanks to the best plastic surgeon.
What's her name? Carla Rizzotti?
Carla Risotto?
Risotto.
No, it's not risotto. It just makes us think. Risotto. Okay.
Whatever it is, her name makes us hungry.
Yes.
We've discussed.
Ooh, I want risotto.
And Marissa had delicious-looking French fries, too, so that doesn't help me either. I know.
Yeah.
We're all going to be snacking after this.
Right.
Thank you.
But the end of the whole show thing ends out with a bang. Joss fills in for the model who had sex
We
with
saw that
Joss's
coming.
husband.
6'5"
And she's given me so much
Who do I
Giselle
know?
with her hair.
Yeah,
that windblown hair.
Yeah.
She's got it going on.
That dress, though, was not so.
Oh, wait. I forgot what I was going to say. So I was saying, I think it was important that Kalista, now I want to say Carla. Kalista said...
Carla
You could say that,
Risotto.
too.
Let's call her
Kalista
Risotto.
said, I was putting my stuff on you because I thought it was so obvious that she was putting some, even if Harry and the bartender clearly they have a little bit of flirtation, we see them in this magazine shoot, that was a setup, but, they did have a little bit of a flirtation, or really they were just kind of talking. So she was letting something in her life affect other parts of her, but
which is human.
Kind of normal.
We see that with all of our friendships and relationships, but it was good that she at least owned up to it. So I appreciated that.
And it was a great point of her to say, what do you want? And she's like, Harry. And it's well, go get Harry. Don't let anyone stand in between you. Which I wish she had said earlier when she was like, don't talk to him, don't text him, don't call him, whatever. So she's going back and forth a little bit, but the end note was good.
Yeah. She said that too, though, because Joss told her she told her she didn't want to be with Harry right now. So
yeah, that's true. So she was just
did.
like going off of what she had told her.
She just went too far.
Yeah,
she did.
And then at the end, she offers Joss to be her full-time event planner. So we'll talk about this in predictions. Like, how do you think that relationship's going to be because they're so close, talking about their relationships and blah, 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 but also bringing in that business aspect of it. I feel like that's going to be a huge thing for them to balance, and we'll talk about that in predictions.
All I know is Joss is going to be making that cash
money.
Yeah, that's right.
She's gonna be okay. So Maserati again, or what kind of car was she driving?
So you can get that closet full of shoes or whatever it is.
The Tesla's coming back.
Yeah. So let's talk about Joss and Henry.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, what?
No.
That was confusing again.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
So lastly, those are our last little peeps to talk about. So we know that she's been texting with Harry because she tells Kalista that at the beginning, and that's when Kalista's like, you shouldn't be talking to him. You told me you didn't want to be with him, blah, blah. Anyways, Ellis has told Harry, and now I'm going to say Henry, you're throwing me off. Ellis has told Harry that he is, LA Magazine has named him one of the top 10 chefs in LA.
He was so happy when he thought that was...
But not happy enough to hug Ellis.
He's like, no, mate. I can't.
I'm not that happy.
Can't do it, mate.
But thank you. Yeah.
It's so hot.
But we find, and then he calls Joss freaking out because he doesn't know what to wear, blah, 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 which was so cute. And she was like, don't call me anymore.
And I hated that. I hated that. I mean, I knew she was doing that because in her mind she was going to the voice of like, I shouldn't be talking to you, I shouldn't be, but it did whatever it was that was kind of cycling through, because you could see the conflict in her face.
You could, yeah.
She was like, I really want to be talking to you, I really want to be making out with you right now,
and I really want you to call me back,
and
all
that
see
stuff.
how it goes and whatever. And he tells her to come by the shoot, and she says, no, I'm gonna be busy. To be fair, she was busy that day. She had a lot.
She wasn't lying.
But
then
trying.
Yeah,
you can see how much he actually really does care for her, and then once he is like stuff kind of hits the fan, he still wants to call her. He's like pacing in the room,
I know,
wanting to call her. He does
her so much. Yeah, well, he shows up at the restaurant looking quite dapper.
He
I
did.
might say.
He chose the right color.
I loved that Carolina blue on him. Looked great.
Of course you did.
And but he finds out that he is supposed to wear star-spangled underpants
because he's sexy.
Yeah, it's the top 10 sexiest chefs.
I actually thought we might see him in that.
I was like,
I'm so excited.
I would 100% buy that issue of LA Magazine.
I would also go to the restaurant. I will buy
and
his
go.
meal. 100%.
Right. Well, I think that's what they were going for, and they sold us. But he, being the
he's classy.
He's a classy man.
He's a classy man. Do that.
Yeah,
but he makes a good point though. He lost his restaurant last season or last year or whatever because of all the stuff going on with Savvy, and it's a lot to take on. And he just feels like if he does something silly like this, it's gonna make him a joke.
Yeah, it's totally silly, and it would be completely making him not that serious chef that he wants to be. So that's that.
But
and
you gotta be playful sometimes. Basically, I just wish we would have saw him in the star-spangled. What did he call them? Knickers.
He said underpants.
Oh, underpants.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I just wish that they had like bloopers of him prancing around or something.
Can we get a blooper, please?
That's on the Blu-ray, like the season 3 Blu-ray that we're all gonna buy.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
But so then we see him with Nico, the bartender, in the dressing room, and she's getting all dolled up for her big 15 minutes of fame. And he's basically, like, I wish I could call the one person that would help me with this, but I can't call her, blah, blah. And he goes, well, talk to me. Like, basically,
I have an idea.
Yeah, I have an idea. Anyways, so she comes out in, like, a little bikini, and he comes out in his outfit, and then she's like, we have an idea. And then she, like, wraps herself around him from behind, so like he's covering all of her, but then takes her top off. Like, there was no need to take her bikini top off because she was already completely blocked.
You couldn't see it whatsoever whenever she was behind
Yeah,
him,
you couldn't see the bikini.
Well, it was to sort of add the red effect of the 4th of July-ness.
So that it would be in her hand.
Yeah.
Well, they could have just had another bikini. You know what I mean?
That's
to be
true.
fair, she probably wasn't
true.
completely naked.
Or he could have worn like a red jacket or something. I don't know.
That's true too.
Basically, get off my man.
Anyways, the idea is that she's naked and he's in his thing, which does make it sexy, but not when Joss is looking through the window and she is very upset.
I mean, of course, she sees like the worst moment. You know, like, and the girls, she's straddling from behind, and then Joss walks up like, oh no.
To be fair, a week prior, she was about to get married to another dude.
That's
so it's
true.
like, you know, if a random bartender is, you know.
And how do you think she would feel if she walked up and he was wearing those little underwear?
Well, it could have
maybe better. I don't know, actually. Maybe
but
better.
also with the girl in her bikini.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Less
Like,
better.
that's
No.
It's a photo shoot. Like, you know, there's a part of her that had to know there was something. But we even see her later when she's talking to Karen. She's like, or Kalista, I'm sorry. And she's like, there was definitely, you know, something. But you can tell that she knows that it's not anything, like, too serious because it's a photo shoot.
Right.
Well, it's because Nico gives, like, sex eyes at everybody. It's like she's just, like, looking at everyone.
Little Nico
and, like,
can't be trusted around.
looking through your soul. Everyone. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
She alluded to my soul.
I don't know.
Well, at the end, off of Callista's advice, Joss goes over to Harry.
Go get your man.
And he's like, I thought we weren't talking. And she says, we're not. And then prances on him like a spider monkey.
And we were like, yay! Right.
I was so happy.
Yeah.
I wish we would have gotten more of it, though.
No,
I need
they're
like
not gonna-
some more of that on the beach.
They're
stuff
not going
that
to
we
give it
got.
to us. They're going to keep just, like, giving us
One
little
listen.
tiny.
I hate TV.
Yeah. Little tiny, and then, nope, that's all you get.
It
That's all you get, April.
I'm stressed about their sex scene. I'm like, please?
Please. Just please.
Just a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that wraps it up for this episode. Do you guys have anything else to add before we get into predictions?
I'm just all about next week.
Yeah, I'm okay. Going off that, let's get into some predictions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV.
She's got some. Sterling's like,
I don't know.
She's, like,
I'm just
ready to go.
thinking. So we saw Karen meet Kalista very briefly this episode when Kalista came over to Karen's apartment. So
Yeah.
that's like the first time we see any of the other women meet Kalista, the new addition. So I'm just like ready for that to happen.
Yeah.
For her to officially be like immersed into the four group.
I think it's going to happen at Soul Cycle.
Okay.
That's where everything happens, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Okay.
like, they really are going to have to do it in a way that,
It's natural.
Yeah. Okay, first, but I don't care about this topic anymore. Can we please talk about the elephant in the room? Are they going to
threesome?
Is Karen
Yes.
going to have a threesome
Yes.
with Alex
Yes.
and Vivian?
Yes.
What do we think
Well,
about that?
clearly we see a kiss, but maybe it's a dream. But I don't think it's a dream.
No.
I think that there is a threesome happening.
I think even if it is a dream, it'll then turn into reality.
Yeah.
Okay, so Karen 100% kisses Vivian because we straight up see it in the preview.
Right.
But do you think she's going to stay when Vivian
Yes.
says don't leave?
Oh, yes.
Because this is like a bucket list thing for Vivian. She's like, I'm about to die.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to have a threesome. Like, why don't we just do it?
I mean, you're here. I'm here.
I mean, Karen's already giving her all of her stem cells. She might as well.
There's already a lot of fluid being passed, so you might as well just, you know.
Well, Karen has clearly not made the greatest choices when it comes to being involved with other couples.
So why just
in the
let's
past
add to that?
But
Oh,
I don't
God.
know. I feel like something's gonna happen. Of course, she gets kissed, and they ask her to stay. But I feel like she's gonna say no because it's gonna make her feel something toward McStreamy.
Creamy.
But I feel like next week, no. But I feel like it is going to happen for sure.
I feel like okay, that's the thing. I don't know if it's going to happen in next episode, but I do think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I feel
I
like
agree.
McStreamy would say no because remember when he was like, there are no other girls other than me.
But I also
Although
think
he
he's
might
kind of
wanna
attracted to
do-
Karen.
Yeah.
He wants to do whatever is going to make
Vivian
his
wants to do.
And if she's like, "Oh, honey," then he'll be like, "Okay, honey."
Okay.
I mean, I guess
it
what
could
guy
be worse, you know?
It could be worse.
But what guy ultimately does turn? I mean, if your wife, just like you said, if she's sitting there like, I want to do this, even if he's like, no, you're the only woman for me. She's like, well, you're not the only one for me, baby. So let's get it going. I don't really know how like the threesome conversation goes, but we'll see.
Well, I can't wait till we
see.
have it.
they're just all going to start giving each other eyes, and then it's just going to be like, okay, we're all on the same page.
Well, Vivian goes, don't go.
uh-huh.
So
That's how it
we'll
starts.
see. I've heard, I've seen in the videos of Mistresses.
Oh, you've seen the videos.
Of Mistresses. So do we have any predictions about April or Joss or...
April's gonna meet her principal.
Oh
next
yeah, the
episode.
principal. I love the Amazing Scandal.
Everyone in chat is supporting the principal card right now.
Yeah, that's
yes,
super hot.
Dustin is supporting
That's fine.
this.
You're fine. That's fine.
And they all know
fine.
that he's on the other show, so they're all very much stoked about him.
Awesome. Great.
We're stoked too. She needs to. Although I'm still bummed about Paul. I have to say, I'm sorry. I'm still.
Yeah.
I'm still like wondering what. Yeah. Anyway.
What could have been? I'm stoked about Joss and Harry. I think more love is gonna abound. Problems are gonna ensue, but typical.
I want something to happen with Kalista. Like if she. Oh well, so that's actually.
We see her like making out with. Is it her husband?
I think
who
so.
it was?
They have like a super.
No, they
hot
have like a
chemistry, but
super
it's bad.
romp. They have a super romp session together.
Okay.
Not just a makeout. It was like they.
Yeah, maybe they're getting back on track, or maybe this is all a ruse and he's not really cheating and she's fake and something.
I think he's cheating, but he does it to please.
I still don't buy the whole I was being protective of you, that's why I went to Harry's restaurant.
There's more to
I
that.
gotta know that. I gotta know more about that. Okay, anyways, ladies, where can we find you on the social media?
I don't know why I'm doing the show.
like-
I like it though. I'm like, I'll do it with you.
You're
You
like,
can find
"Oh,
me
man."
on Twitter and Instagram at April Whisenhant.
Oh, you can find me on everything at the Alison Dean and on my YouTube show Winos and Onesies.
Again, a show that I feel that I would be your
Very
number one
passionate.
fan.
You can come on, Sterling. You can
I've gotta
come
do it. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sterling Cates and also on the Astronaut Wives Club after show, again with Miss April over here, and for Orange is the New Black on Wednesdays. And of course, you can find all of us at AfterBuzz TV, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, everything. And don't forget to go to podcast1.com to fill out that survey. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Ciao.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.